Hello, everyone. Welcome to our LTS webinar. We're very happy to have you here. And before we get started, I would like to go ahead and introduce a Q&A modality for this session. So at the bottom of your screen, you can see the Q&A button. And if you click on it, you can post a question directly to our panelists. Towards the end of the session, we will allot some time to answer the most interesting questions. However, due to time constraints, we will send the rest of the responses via email. And without further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce the head of UX Automotive here at Luxoft, Olaf Preissner.
Hello, everybody. It's nice to have you here on board to my webinar, today's webinar. So the topic is the future of automotive UX. I'm a part of Luxoft Digital Cockpit, and I would like to take this time, this 1 hour, to give you a little bit some insights here. So please take a seat here, and in this really nice Bentley, and listen to what I would like to present you today in this webinar. And thanks here for being here and spend your time at this really sunny day here in Stuttgart area. So I'm based here in Stuttgart area, and the webinar is hosted here from Stuttgart area. So what I would like to share with you, so a short agenda here from my side is a short introduction of myself, a little bit on insights about my personal history and so on. Then I would like to share some mega trends, what we see here related to the UX and also in the automotive area. Then some insights of Luxoft UX, what we are working on. And I think especially it's quite interesting what we are doing in the direction of mixed reality. So this is, I think, sort of future, what we expect, what will be, how we interact in the future or how we will interact in the future. And then some further steps more in the future to show, okay, what's going on there. Maybe a little bit futuristic, but let's see about some topics what I would like to share with you here in this area. And at the end, there will be a Q&A session, so please feel free when you have some questions to put it in the Q&A folder here, and I can answer them at the end. So, okay, maybe some words from my person here. So my name is Olaf Preissner, head of the UX Automotive. So I'm since 2012, I'm here at Luxoft, head of UX Automotive, and I've also helped to build up here the team. It's more than around about 60 employees in my team here. It's related to concept work, styling work in different directions, prototyping, but also series production. Former I was at Harman, so also a big tier 1 in this automotive industry. There I got a lot of experience in different areas all over the world. So we worked a lot with different car manufacturers together. So it was a really nice and interesting experience. And from there, I was at a startup. So it was 18 years ago when I started in the in this automotive industry. Therefore, I was at a small startup where we also had a lot of visions and generated a lot of ideas, where you can see most of them right now really live on the road. So sometimes it takes time, also related to technology, but at the end it's quite interesting what's going on, and on the other hand, how fast the development is right now going on. And this is a quite nice and interesting area, what we are working. And I would like here to give you a little bit an overview what we expect here in the future. But first of all, let's take a look here or introduce Robert Tirsig. I'm not quite sure if all of you know this guy. It's one of the world's most productive creator of interaction content. And I think what is really interesting, there's an interesting book what he wrote. It's about rubber-sized. It's called the name of the book. And the main statement here is about everything what can be digitized will be digitized. So it's quite an interesting book. I can really recommend it to read it. And it's based on two laws. So the main principle or the topics here, it's about Moore's law. So it says that the computer processor double in complexity every 2 years. Therefore, what we right now see in the area where we are right now working is, once again, so on the left side, Robert Tirsig, so in person, and then on the right hand, you see his book, what he wrote here, this vaporized, everything what can be digitized will be digitized. So this is quite interesting. These two laws, what he based on, and all his explanation in this book is based on Moore's law, so that every 2 years the processor double in complexity. So this is quite interesting. It's an old law. I think it was formulated in 1965. Right now it's a little bit from the speed, it's a little bit slower, but nevertheless it's in overall quite fast from development. And the other one is this Metcalfe's law. It says, this law states that the value of a telecommunication network is proportional to the square of the number of connected users to the system. So this is, we can explain it a little bit with a fax machine. So a single fax machine is useless, I think, but the value of every fax machine increases with the total number of fax machines in the network. So because the total number of people with whom each user may send and receive documents increase. And this, I think, is the principle of all social networking, what we right now have in the World Wide Web. And this is quite interesting because this is growing really fast. And therefore, I think also the development or the future development is increasing from the speed. And therefore, the technology jump is much more higher than in the last years, what we will see also in the near future. And coming back to this vaporization, so this digitalization, when we take a look here of one example only, when we take a look inside of a smartphone here, it's a nice illustration, but it's on paperwork, not digitalized, but I think it will be coming soon. So sorry then for this picture here, for this photo, but it illustrates, I think, really nice how many devices, hardware devices, what we interact in the past is now collected in one device, like such stuff, of course, computer, video camera, photo album, also calendar, some watch here, some camera, and a lot of telephone, of course, this voice recorder and so on, video player. So a lot of devices what we have in the past as a hardware device, and also how we interact there as a hardware device is now digitalized and or vaporized. So we have it now in a digital form, and we also have a complete new user interface to control all of this stuff. And I think this is so the main content or the main message here from the guy Tirsig, who how the way goes, and I would like to relate during my presentation and give you a couple of examples what goes completely in this direction, and show a little bit what does this mean in for automotive, but also here in this UX field, how you interact with products also in the future. And of course, it's also related, for example, here to money. There's a big hype right now with this Bitcoin, for example. So nevertheless, I think it goes in the direction that you don't have in the future any more physical money. So everything will be electronic or digitalized. And this, what we can see here, how this also influences. There's a nice example, this Amazon Go. I think it was this Monday who opened the store in Seattle for the public. So they started in January, of course, but it was only with internal test. But now you can really go in. And what does this mean? So let's take a quick look here in this small video, what I would like to share here with you.
4 years ago, we started to wonder, what would shopping look like if you could walk into a store, grab what you want, and just go? What if we could weave the most advanced machine learning, computer vision, and AI into the very fabric of a store so you never have to wait in line? No lines, no checkouts, no registers. Welcome to Amazon Go.
Yeah, so this shows, I think, also from the user experience that they are really focusing on the positive side. So you don't have to stay anymore in a queue, or you have no really payment here. You don't need a credit card. You don't need money here. So it's quite to focus on the positive experience. You would like to have something, you go in the shop, take it and go out, and that's it. So I think, and this is really interesting because this is also related to the automotive industry, because the shopping experience what you have here is made possible by the same type of technology what we have or what we use in the self-driving cars. So it's computer vision, it's sensor fusion, and deep learning. So these three topics, what we also right now dealing in the automotive industry for autonomous driving, it's the same what they are dealing. So they have cameras here to detect the face and the person here. It's also about this computer vision, that they know exactly where you are here, and also deep learning, that they also learn how the user expectation is or the behavior is. So, and this is, I think, quite interesting. So it shows only as a simple, small example in what kind of directions we are going. So no more or not so much anymore really hardware devices. It goes more in the software and more in a way of virtualization. And this is quite interesting. What I would like to share with you, and what influences the user experience, or especially in the automotive industry, what we are dealing with is some mega trends. So it's digital lifestyle, what we see, what are a big influencer, then the electrification, the sharing community, and autonomy. So this four, I would like to give some small examples here in my presentation. Let's start with the digital lifestyle. And here you see one example. It's quite interesting. It's from Hyundai concept here, smart home called. So it's the car. So there behind is the garage, and you have here this the direct contact to your environment of the car. So the environment of the car is a part of your living space here, and this is also quite nice idea how you can also share your digital lifestyle at home with your car. There's also another example here, or concept study, also interesting, from Renault, the Symbios. It's a connected autonomous and electrical car here, what is also integrated in your complete home environment. So it's also really nice with smart grid energy management. So does this mean this battery is also connected to your home, and when you need more electricity here at your home, so you can charge it here from your car, and vice versa. Or when you have a long journey with your car, then you can use the battery power here, or the electrical power here from your home, from your smart home. And it's quite, so they called it vehicle to grid. So and this is, I think, also a quite nice concept, how car driving, or this car environment, car living, and home coming together, or this digital lifestyle coming together. It's of course only concept studies, but nevertheless, I think quite nice direction what we have here. And here you see some details. So you can jump in your car, you can relax in your car. It's a part of your home, a really interesting part. So second part, electrification. I think this is also the transition from traditional to electric cars. Will drive a completely redesign of the vehicle in different areas. So, and this is, I think, quite interesting also from our side. Of course, there are different directions here. So one we have, when we are looking at the Detroit Motor Show here in this month, so there was here this big Ford F-150. So it's 5-liter VH engine, big engine, so no electrification. and the only new feature was the start-stop as standard. Okay, but on the other hand, we have countries like Norway, and it seems that they are close to becoming planet's first fully electrified society. So really interesting. And when we are looking a little bit closer here, what does this mean? So yeah, it was the electric car reached around about 50% market share 2017, so last year. And Norway has the highest per capita number of all electrical cars in the world. And they have the goal to have so only selling zero emissions cars by 2025. And another example, so for example, Oslo has the biggest parking garage in Europe with 100 charging stations and 10,000 public charging stations for free. So it's quite interesting. Of course, there's a complete different setup, also from the environment, energy, of course, how they deal with the energy. I think Norway is quite in a really, really good condition there. They have a lot of possibilities, but it shows also the different trends what we have here. On the other hand, like US, not so focused there. On the other hand, like small countries, also I think also China is going in this direction to be really focused and to check out what is going on there and what is the possibilities. And also when we are looking in Germany, so here the Ego Life, it's also an interesting car. I think it's one of the first electric vehicle what is affordable. So it will coming on the market here in Germany around about 2018. Price around about 16,000 euros, so quite cheap for electric car, quite interesting. It was also in Aachen developed here. It's only a range is 100 kilometers, so not too much, but I think this is the goal here, especially for urban areas, and it's absolutely enough here for the urban area. So it's a dedicated group of users what they are focusing on, and I think this could be really successful, and it will also push here the electrical vehicles also here in Germany. Of course, the infrastructure and so on, there are a lot of struggling and settle up the complete infrastructure, but I think the trend here is absolutely clear. And of course, this will be also influenced in the UX part, a lot of challenging also from the UX, or not challenging, but needs what the user need on information here in this kind of area. And this could be also quite interesting. And the combination with the electrical car and here, for example, 3D printing, I think this is also a really great potential for newcomers who come on the market, new car manufacturers, small car manufacturers, like here, for example, this Local Motors here. It's an open source think tank, engineering, mobility, and design. And they manufacture this car here, this is Strati, it's called, in 44 hours. So this is, and it's of course not the complete, like the wheels are not printed in 3D, but the chassis and so on, and most of the components are printed here with a 3D printer. And this is quite interesting. And of course, when you combine it with an electric vehicle, then, for example, for the engine of an electrical vehicle here has 90% less movable parts as a traditional classical engine. So it's of course much more simpler to build up with. And of course, it's not only this Strati. There are also other players here on the market, like this car here, a more sportive. It's called Plate, and it's 90% lighter than a normal vehicle. So it's also really interesting because weight is also a big topic here to save energy. Or another example, it's this Ollie self-driving minibus. It's also printed in 3D, also from Local Motors. This can transport 12 passengers here. It's also printed in 3D or with a 3D printer, and it's printed in 10 hours here. And they try to settle it, so to assemble it in 1 hour. So also really fast and really, with a big cost optimization. Another mega trend, what we see is the sharing economy. So also interesting, and it's not only Car2Go or Drive Now or Flinkstar or the other companies who are working here and moving this transition from private ownership to shared usage. No, there are also different models, and it's also quite interesting. I would like to share with you here, for example, what you can, or what you normally use nowadays is, of course, Spotify. So it's not that you own, like in the past days, your LP or CD or DVD. No, you have a abo model. So you have an abonnement where you can have all the time the music what you would like to have, but you don't own it at the end. No, you have here a business case where you can hear it with a streaming possibility. And I think the same as what is going on with the newspapers. So newspapers, I think they will be also vaporized at the end. So it will be in a form of digitalization in the future. And for example, this Readly, I'm not quite sure if you're aware about this. So this collects 2,500 magazines, and monthly based it will be more for $10 per month. And you can have access to all of these magazines. You don't need any more these physical magazines where you have to store it and so on. No, it's on a digital, and you can also when you don't want to have it anymore, you can quit it month per month. And this also, coming back to the automotive industry, this is also quite interesting because Volvo is also going in this direction with some nice ideas here. It's called Care by Volvo. And here you can have also such kind of, it's a new way to own a car, or not really own a car, because it's also like an abo. So you can change your car in a dedicated time period. So, and this gives you also the possibility to try different car models here in an easy way. And this, I think, will be also influence how you would like to interact in the future and how you choose your car in the future. So maybe you choose it much more than you have it nowadays. And the last trend, what we see here, what influenced the UX and the automotive industry is, of course, autonomous driving here. I think, and this goes also in a different directions, because in one hand, of course, you would maybe driving alone, so you need only a small car here, like this one, like the Smart EQ. On the other hand, maybe you would like to drive together with friends in a completely other environment, and also with different user interface here, with this Windows user interface, for example. Or with this example, you will drive together with people you don't know, like here, this from the Deutsche Bahn, this autonomous vehicle. I think it's one of the first one who really drives in autonomous mode here in Germany. Or, of course, you would like to drive here with this nice Rinspeed Ethos car, more sportive here. And by the way, here we were also involved in the development of this part here, of this stuff. Or, and of course, this is really futuristic, like here, this concept from Airbus and Italo Design. It's called Popup. Yeah, this addresses more the mobility chain challenges what we have in mega cities in the future. It is also quite nice, the combination here of different layers. So you have this air model here, then you have this capsule here, or you have the ground model with the battery powered and so on, chassis. So I think quite nice and interesting different forms, and the technology, and I think also from the production side, we are living now in an area where I expect, and we expect, a lot of changes, because from technology side there is a lot of possibilities and new possibilities what's coming here on the market. But coming back to the ground here, not to fly too high, I would like to give you here a little bit an overview about our portfolio here at Luxoft, what we are doing here and what kind of areas we are working. At the end, we bring stunning user experience on the road. Yeah, and I think interesting or important from pixel to silicon. So this means that we not only generate nice, fancy concepts. No, I think what we are focusing also to bring it really to production and to have it really at the end on the road, with from the beginning, from the concept, but then really to the end, to the production. And normally, of course, this is a sometimes a long way here where we are working on, and I would like to share some examples where we worked on and what is also interesting on the market, what's going on there. When we are looking on production, of course, the new A-Class, what it was introduced. It was also at the CES a couple of weeks ago at the CES in Las Vegas, beginning of January here. And quite interesting is here that the A-Class will not have any more manual instrument cluster. No, so also in the basic version, you have this digital instrument cluster here. And this shows also the way where we are going. It is digitalization. So yeah, shifting from manual stuff here, from analog stuff here, really to digital. And also I think what is yeah, interesting here, what we see here with the Daimler, they call it MBUX. It's a really revolutionary for Daimler here in this case. They're really proud to present it here at the CES. Also, Gordon Wegener, for example, or Satya Khan was there, who presented here this really nice concept. And it sees it shows about the importance of the user experience also for the future. So it's not an engine here in this focus. The focus is here really the user experience when you are in the car and operate and dealing with with all the interaction what you would like, and also the connectivity here. So this is also quite interesting. And of course, with this big projects, we are working here also in a agile way. So together with the software, so all parties, what we have here, it's like a sprint way of working, and together with all parties, with the concept guys, with the design guys, and also the product owner and software guys working here really close together in this agile way to bring this concepts then really on the road. And this is, I think, also shifting, or mind shifting is here, how we worked in the past together and how we will work right now, or how we will work in the future. And besides this production projects, of course, we are working maybe 2 or 3 years on one project. We have this advanced design, where we are focusing on a lot of prototypes here, prototyping in different areas for different car manufacturers. So I cannot share here too much stuff here because this is forbidden. But what I could spend or share with you some insights here, what we are doing with some demonstrators, what we are preparing for ourselves, also for marketing and for research, so that we are aware what's going on and how the behaviors are. So, for example, we generated this all-view demonstrator here. It gives us also a lot of possibilities to realize how we can deal with some different hardwares or input or output methods. And one focus, it's only one example, small example here. What we are focused also is the smartphone meets automotive. So what does this mean to bring the smartphone world, so transform the mobile world, smartphone world into the car? And this are some small topics, like here a messenger. So how you bring the messenger into the car, and there's some details what we also figure out or discussing. So for example, when we are looking at WhatsApp, so it's interesting that 40% of Italian divorces over cheating involve this WhatsApp. So it looks like the Italians are using the messaging for a lot of affairs what they have. So and it's also a small example here. But what does this mean? So how can we use then a private mode, for example, for this WhatsApp, for this messenger? And therefore, also with this small problems, but important problems, when you are sitting in a car and you would like to use your messenger, therefore we are also generating concepts for and checking what is possible here and how can we use some nice ideas to protect or help then, for example, this Italian guys here. And of course, this is also not only for this example here for messaging. We are also focusing in general, what does this mean when you have the possibility with a large screen in the car, how you can use then this interactive methods, what has advantage when you use it in the car as when you have it in a smartphone. Of course, there are safety reasons what we have to take into account when we are using it while driving or in autonomous mode. So there are a lot of stuff what we are right now investigating and working on to have here really nice and good, really interesting solutions. On the other hand, so when we are looking a little bit in the future and what we are right now working on, so this is some kind of mixed reality. So this is also quite nice to discover what we can do with this mixed reality in the future, and how this will work maybe also in the car itself. So as you know, here's an example for this HoloLens, and so the person who used this have this virtual picture, but this is overlapping your real picture. So this is called mixed reality. And when we are checking right now what we spend on digital displays, so it's a huge number of hours. So roundabout sleeping is around about 7 hours here. Then we have between 7 and 12 hours where we spend really on displays. It's on computer, smartphone, TV, or gaming consoles. And then only 6 or 9 hours we have for talking, walking, eating, fitness, and so on. And I think, and when we are looking what we are doing here in this area, so when we are looking at displays, the top one is social networking, like messaging, emails, and so on, and video watching and writing emails. So this is one of the top issues what we are doing. And when we transfer this, what can we do when we use this virtual reality? Then it will be quite interesting here, because this is going from outside, so looking on the display, going really inside. So, and this will have absolutely complete new dimensions of how we communicate or how we explore or interact in the future. And we are right now at the beginning. So, and this is, I think, so interesting. When I'm looking 18 years, in the past, when we started with the startup with some nice ideas, what can we go? I think we're struggling also a lot with technology, and I think it's the same with this virtuality stuff. So when you are looking at the Google Glasses here, of course, there's the question why Google Glasses failed. So it was a really big disaster, I think, but there was a lot of stuff what was really not well prepared. So it was the safety and health concerns there. This, of course, the aesthetic. It was really ugly to have such kind of things. Then there was a little progress to bring the product really out of the beta stage. This was all the time a beta product here. There was also no clear functionality. It was also capture images and project information, but there was no really communication or connectivity there. And there was also a really bad marketing. So it was more or less sold only to Google Glass Explorers, they called it so, and for a really high price. So this completely disaster, but it's also related, of course, to technology, marketing issues, yes. Then actually we have the Microsoft HoloLens. I think it's much more better, but nevertheless, it's also a lot of issues what we are struggling right now here. It's the field of view. It's only 30 degrees here, and when we are looking at the normal VR glasses like the HTC Vive or the Oculus Rift, and then we have 110. So you have a completely other impression here. And of course, there is also the short battery life, low pixel intensity, limited frame rate, lags in gesture recognition. So, and also, it shows a lot of promise, but has a huge number of limitations. So, but it was better than the Google Glasses, or it is better. And it, in some cases, also for service guys, it is still really, really useful. And when we are looking what's going on there, so also the technology, of course, is going on there. So we have here this nice glasses here from it was from Magic Leap One, so it's available soon. I think it's beginning of 2018. They promised this here, and I think it's quite nice because it's not anymore so big, and you have also a second device. It's not directly on your head, so it's not so heavy. Okay, it looks a little bit futuristic, yeah. But nevertheless, the first reviews here was really positive, also from the quality here. And it seems that there's also the viewing field much more better than we had from the Microsoft HoloLens or the Meta 2. Then also, of course, Android and Apple. So they are working here with this augmented reality stuff. So I think we can expect here also from the technology side a lot of more in the near future here. And let's take maybe a quick look here on this video. It's an example for Rolls-Royce autonomous vehicles, how they see here the future using here this mixed reality.
We live in an ever-changing world where unmanned and remote-controlled vessels are becoming reality. Let us share a view of this world with you. The control room is the nerve center of remote operations in the Rolls-Royce OX concept, where the global wall shows a real-time overview of worldwide shipping traffic. A full situation overview is presented to operators who are monitoring vessels via remote link from their onshore workstations.
Right, bring vessel viz to collaboration table 1.
The OX collaboration table is a tool dedicated to teamwork and in-depth situation analyses and reviews, allowing ad hoc problem solving on a shared and flexible presentation platform.
We are looking at a vessel with possible propulsion motor failure. We need to decide whether she can sail to port with both motors, or if she needs to shut down the other shaft line. Judging by the motor sound, I'm suspecting a failed feedback sensor. We could bypass it by changing to model-based open-loop feedback.
Okay, so only an example what you see how you can do when you have this mixed reality, so objects with what is really only in the virtual world, and then with reality world, or how you can then really take a closer look to some problems what you have in different areas. So what companies working here. So this is quite interesting. And on the other hand, of course, we have also some kind of virtual mixed reality lab here, where we are also right now working on what does this mean to transform this stuff here in the automotive world. So when you are really sitting in a car, what can you expect there, or what are the advantages here? And so we built here also up a complete new interior. So normally we don't build cars or interiors, but in this case, of course, it's related then. So the combination between car interior and virtualization is so important here. And only here some screenshots. So what you can expect maybe when you are driving at night. So you see your sky with a lot of information, different informations, or some camping areas, or you can combine it in a really nice way here. Or you have your map here on the side, and you can really interact in 3D with this stuff. So, and we will show in the embedded world in Nuremberg, it's end of February, some nice use cases. It's different to this stuff here, what you see right now. And this it's quite interesting how much possibility you have in the future when you're using this 3D world, this virtual world, and combine it with the real world here. Also a music player, or how you maybe listen the music in the future. So I think quite nice and quite interesting stuff what we are right now working on with this mixed reality in this case. And yeah, I expect that this will be, of course, it depends on the technology, but that there we will see soon a lot of nice and yeah, really exciting projects coming out in this area. And maybe the last topic what I would like to cover is when we are looking a little bit more in the future, what coming next after this mixed reality, or what is going on directly, who could help here to interact in the future. Of course, I think it's artificial intelligence and voice recognition, like Siri, Echo, or Alexa, or all the stuff what is called right now. So this personal assistance also, I think this will be going on, and this will be much more powerful in the future. On the other hand, when we are looking, I call it homo digitalis. So when we have maybe some implement in our body, like this chips here, and it's related maybe to the beginning to Amazon Go, because it's then much more easier to identify the person. But on the other hand, there are also some quite interesting aspects or yeah, performance here. When we are looking a little bit, going back from the technology more to the artwork, then there is here this nice woman, this Moon Rebus. She called her a cyborg activist. So it's quite nice what you have done here from the performance. So maybe have a quick look here at this. So she has a sensor inside, and the sensor gives the information if there is an earthquake around the world. So when there is some earthquakes, then she gets this information, and she generated here this performance, so this dance. And of course, when there's no earthquake, then of course also no performance here in this area. This, I think, it's when we are looking on this topic from different angles here, then I think we get a lot of inspiration what we can do also in the future, how maybe the future and what kind of direction that we are going. And remember the word here from, yeah, what could be digitized, will be digitized in the future. So this, I think, gives some interesting outlook what's going on there. So, and it's also quite nice performance, and yeah, quite nice inspiring stuff here. On the other hand, when we are looking what's going on there in this form of homo digitalis, so there is this yeah, Defense Advanced Research Project Agency in US, and they make a lot of research here, and I think it's yeah, quite old. So Jan Scheuermann was in the year 2014. Yeah, when they had an implant here, and here this woman, she could control this robot arm only with her brain to eat this chocolate. So this was, I think, really interesting how you can control with your brain directly, and you don't need anymore a real user interface, because you can control the device or what you would like to do directly with your brain. And this goes further. So this was in the year 2016. So Nathan Copeland here, and he can not only control, he can also feel. So it was a natural sense of touch, so that he get the information what he feel with this robot arm directly in his brain. And this is quite interesting, because they are working here on this, they call it cortex modem. Dr. Alveda here, who pushes this here, so to get direct contact without using the eye or the visual nerve. So you can connect directly here your brain, and you can control it and directly. So of course it's maybe a little bit in yeah, in the future, but it's seems that also devices to control something, it's maybe in the future not so more needed, so because you can control it directly. But of course, everything is about user experience and how to interact. And there are quite a lot of different areas and directions, what's going on there. And it's quite interesting stuff what we are all dealing here with this. But coming here to the ground, coming back here, what's going here on, or what we are right now doing, or what's going around us. So we have different locations here. The base is here in Böblingen, Stuttgart area. But of course, we also have other locations like here in Berlin, just opened here. For Detroit here, we are searching also for UX candidates. So it's, of course, we are searching all the time here for new employees and also students to help us here to make nice concept, but also bring it here to production. And also for Shanghai, it's right now in verification. I will be next week in Shanghai also to discuss here opportunities, and it could be also really interesting here to be present there. On the other hand, of course, we are what I call we are searching for students, so also for thesis. So when you are interested here to also participate on this really nice, interesting stuff what we are doing. So right now, for example, we are making, or the student what is working here is doing some stuff to make a little bit more organized here to bring parcels to the end customer, how we can help them. And on the other hand, of course, we working not only on interfaces, also on industrial design, how the interior could look like in the future. Like here with Dominic, who working here on this nice car and nice environments, and also on quite nice ideas here. So like sleeping here on the trees here and using your interface in your cars to be able to stay here on the trees. Okay, but these are really advanced and funny stuff also, but this is also, I think, absolutely important to think a little bit out of the box. And yeah, at the end, we are searching and searching for people who are interested to help here to get, to make the next steps. And of course, here you see our web address here at carrierluxoft.com Automotive, where you can, when you are interested, write an email or make an application here. And I'm more than happy when we get more people on board who are interested here to develop with Luxoft together with the UX team the future. So thank you very much. I think the next step will be the Q&A. So if you have some questions, so please write it in the box so that I can take a look here and also get some answers, of course, when I have the possibility to answer. Okay. So let me check. Okay, how do you think will Unity start to use robot parts for the bodies? I think what we right now see, of course, it's in some areas, of course, but I think when it will be, so now we are really at the beginning, and at the beginning it's sometimes really, really hard to convince the people or get the trust of the people. And they are normally, really skeptical and so on. And this takes, of course, a big part to convince them that what we are working on help the people. And with the user interface, what they can using helps to interact also in the future on a better way. But this will take time, I think. This is normal, absolutely normal. And it's up to us also to generate a user interface what is of course easy to use, and also get this trust to the people. Okay, then there is there any similar product technology like Google Glass available? Yeah, as I mentioned, so it is it's the Microsoft HoloLens. What you can use. This is the actual technology. It's working. So there's developer sets what you can buy there. I think around $3,000 or $4,000. But as I mentioned, it's quite heavy, and the battery power is not so good. So I think what is going on is what I showed you, this Meta 2 and also this other stuff. I think this in next time there will be a lot of more devices on the market here. So let's check what else we have there. There's a question, are there automotive locations in Russia? So what we have here from UX side, we have also a center in Kiev, for example, in Ukraine, and also in Odessa, there are people working. I think also in Russia, so it's maybe not automotive related, it's more in the finance industry. There we have also people in Moscow sitting, but you can also please write an email, and then we can go directly and give you a little bit more direct contact data that you could be aware where you have to contact here. So let's check what else we have here. So we have one question here from Max. Why do we discuss the AR glasses so much with modern face recognition system? Can you use the front glass to project an AR image? So I'm not quite sure if I got it really right. But I think what is the advantage for this augmented reality glasses is that you have really the possibility here to combine the virtual world with the real world. I think in the service area, of course, it's quite interesting. So when there is an operator working in a factory and have a problem, then he put the AR glasses on, and then he will be guided from an operator or so, and then he get really the information on the right place. So where he has really to fix the problem, he get a concrete guidance, and you can project it and directly in your virtual environment. Or as you saw the example from Rolls-Royce, so this autonomous vehicles or ships, they have not any more people on board. They are absolutely autonomous, so with no captain, no people there on board. It will be operated directly from the center, from Rolls-Royce. And when there is a problem, then you have the service guys, and they can really, from virtual side, they can check it and really see what's going on there. And maybe a side note here, so for them, sound is also really important. It's not only the visual, so they really need the sound. So because when there is something with the engine, then they can detect the problem really, really easily. And there's also a question here from Pavio. Is Rolls-Royce vessels UI also Luxoft project? No, to be honest, here we were not involved here in this area, but I think it's a quite nice example how you deal with this virtual reality, or how you could deal in the with this virtual reality in the future. So let me check what else we have here. Yeah, so there is a question from Trisha here. Olaf, what are your thoughts about autonomous driving tech reaching regions like India, since the infrastructure, of course, is not so easy to deal with? Yep, absolutely agree. I think what we will see in the autonomous driving area, it will be starting from urban areas, mega cities. and then I expect, or we expect, that it will be forbidden to drive there on a manual mode at the end. So it's only working with autonomous driving vehicles, and this will be the starting point. And of course, areas like big cities in India also, where you have a little crowdy traffic, I think this takes much more longer, of course, to have here some solutions, and you can deal with this. But for mega cities, I think it will be absolutely necessary, and it will starting here from this point. Okay. Let's check out what else we have here. Yeah, of course, there's also this problem, maybe this question here. Electricity is great, but it leads to strong dependency between devices and energy sources. Batteries are still not efficient enough. Smartphones are just an example. Yes, I absolutely agree with this. So there we have an issue here. But on the other hand, when we see this project or what's going on in Norway, or when we adjust it to the really needs what we have, like in urban cities, we don't need too much battery powers because the distance is quite short what we are driving. I think then the case is much more, much more easier to handle. So I think this will be use case by use case. When we here have really customized solutions, this will be so important, and this will, I think, also help a lot to focus on here. Okay, let me check what we have else here. Yeah, there was an interesting, maybe the last question here. I think then we have 5 o'clock here. So 1 second. Here, do Luxoft UI for cars use any operating system, or you use 100% property environment? So it's we are working on different operating systems here, not only rely on one. I think what we right now see, there are different companies who provide this operating systems here. What we are right now using often is Qt, and we have a close collaboration here with the Qt company, and a lot of projects here is based on Qt because it's right now also a really good system what we can use here in this automotive industry field. Okay, so I think that's it. Thank you very much for attending this webinar. Hope you could enjoy, and you have also some new, inspiring here. Get new ideas. What's going on in the future? Of course, nobody knows really what will bring the future, but maybe this is one possibility here. And thank you very much for joining, and have a great rest of the day. And I wish you everything good for the future. So bye-bye.
Thank you so much, and see you next time.